Hey, Joe here from Mainline Auto Body once again. During this COVID-19 pandemic, we had a slowdown in work, so we worked on a few extra projects lately. I want to show you a couple of them that we've found some good results with. This is one of our recent projects, a panel rack with these vertical posts that are adjustable based on where you plug them in the holes in the pipe. We built it out of square tubing. This is where bodymen will take the panels that are ready to be painted and place them on the rack. RO number on the piece of tape there. Then the painters can grab those and paint them at their leisure. But the big component here, the big benefit, is that it's operated by a winch that lifts it out of the way. Stevie there has the remote hanging from the overhead. This pulls the whole rack up out of the way, and all this floor space down here opens up. So all the panels are in the air, out of the way. Now you can see that we have these 4-cable system and these lifting blocks with some unistrut in the overhead, 4 pulleys that meet up over here at this manifold, we call it, up there where eye hooks allow us to adjust the cables. And finally over here on the post is the winch that we use to lift the thing. 880 pound capacity, so there's no problem in the lifting capacity. Now we've also done the same thing with the bumper racks here, and they're awfully light right now because of so little work, but you'll get the gist of how it operates. There's another remote, and Stevie will do the honors. So when the bodymen have a bumper that needs to be painted, they bring it over here to the paint shop and they pull it up out of the way, so everything is in the clear. And all this floor space is one variety of equipment that doesn't get used regularly, like this car liner measuring stand, rack stand. And so we've lifted that out of the way, so on the occasional basis when we need it, we can pull it down easily. You'll see that's a 2-point pulley system with the 1/8" cable, 1750 pound rating. And again, in this case, we've mounted the winch to the masonry wall and ran the remote down the wall here for easy access. Now here's some of our calibration equipment, big piece of hardware that's always in the way when we're not using it. So once again, up there in the roof trusses, we've mounted a lifting winch, and it easily and quickly pulls it out of the way, so it's only on the ground when we need it. Also, we are at the exit end of the spray booths in the paint shop here. And typically this is where all sorts of parts are gathered, like these here for instance, on stands, and when we're busy it's hogging a lot of floor space. So we did the same thing with the bumper rack once again on the freshly painted bumpers that come out of the paint shop, and they can be loaded up on this bumper rack. It holds 10 bumpers and off we go out of the way. So this is Brian Barker. He and I work together building all of these lifts, and this one being the most complex, that we're calling this the freight elevator. So Brian and I did a lot of head scratching, and we came up with this. Brian built the frame out of 1.5" tubing. So go ahead and let her down, Brian, and show us how it works. So presently we have some air conditioning machines loaded on the platform. The aluminum diamond plate is a ramp that folds down so you can wheel equipment up on there. Now the mechanics of it are some 3-inch square tubing over here, and then we have unistrut welded beside it, and then 4 of these unistrut wheel trolleys that fit inside the unistrut, and that guides it up and down. Here you'll see a winch. This one is a heavier duty model, well up there in the overhead. This one is a 2,200 pound capacity, and there's a header across this vertical post, also out of 3-inch box tubing, that serves as the mounting point for that winch. And so in this case it's a single cable, a single pull, comes straight down here and attaches to this loading platform. So once again, it only takes a few seconds, and we've used it a lot already, placing equipment and things up there on top of this mezzanine area, stuff that we don't regularly use. And so there you'll see Brian will demonstrate the ramp. Let's go right back up with it if you would, Brian. Right back on again, and we'll raise it once again. You would, Brian? So Brian had his hand on every bit of this and did the bulk of the fabrication and engineering, and it really works good. It takes about 10 seconds to get it up in the air or down to the floor. So there you have it. If you have any questions on the details, just give me a shout.